Hello everybody and welcome to one more Woeing in a Budget. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I actually want to talk about two classes, and the reason I want to talk about these two classes is that in all honesty, I don't like them if they're budget. They're not really classes that will make too big of a difference while you don't have a lot of gear on them, unfortunately. Um, it might work in some servers. Right now on Classic, because you can get KVM gear, because you can get a Srika for really cheap. It's actually really difficult to play these builds that are physical attack. Um, the Cinex still has EDP, but if it wasn't for that, I would have said not to play him as well. So let's talk about the Whitesmith and the LK together here. Again, this is just if you have to play these builds, these characters in WoW, I would go with these builds. Both of them are gonna have similar builds. As you can see, I have a little bit more dex, a little bit less vit on my Mastersmith, but the trick here is both of them will have 95 strength. Um, there are reasons for that. There are weapons that proc with that, so I actually like having that already. Um, as long as you're above 80 vid on both of them and above 50 dex, you can mix and match, and according to what you feel like it's better. But LKs have skills that will increase their hit, so I lowered their dex and I increased their vid. I actually wanted 90 vid and like the 50 dex here. But anyways, I'm not gonna go too much into the build. People say, "Oh, but why do you only have one vid?" Both of these characters can hit 190 attack speed, max attack speed in Classic, with one agi. They're not that difficult, especially Frenzy. The OK will actually hit 190 to break amps quite easily. Um, Item wise, this is where it gets tricky, right? You don't have a lot to offer in terms of damage, right? You're gonna be annoying, but you're not really gonna be doing a lot of killing if you don't have megs, if you don't have um, things that are gonna increase that, like a Brynhild or anything like that. Giant Whisper, all those will increase damage. You can see I did bring my Giant Horn, but to be honest, I'm probably gonna beret. Survivability is probably gonna be the best option, and both of these guys be like effect bombs, where they go in and they're as annoying as it can be. People can't really ignore them because they can get coma, they can get their armor broken. Your job is gonna be very annoying, and most importantly, for this to work, you're gonna want to have at least the very minimum a +7 Valk Manto. Um, and I'll show you. I'm actually, for the first time, I'm going to show you end gear stuff, because my master stuff is just geared, so I can show you that afterwards. But for both of them, you're going to want a Valk Manto. I do have the Glorious set here. That gives you survivability, but it doesn't give you. It doesn't force people to. Uh, it doesn't kill people that try to kill you. And the trick here is you're not going to be able to do anything. If somebody's fisting you not strong enough, they might die and you might stay up. Very unlikely with this setup, but it can happen. Both of them, you're going to just need any cranial. For LKs, I would go with Brandium if you can get one, just for the HP. Um, but for Master Smith, I'll just go with. I guess you can go with Brandium too, but I would probably go with a Valk on Master Smith. Obviously, if you can start going into Thornies, you're gonna want to do that, and then you want to combo that up with a Bison Horn. So make sure if you can get that far, that actually does help both on attack speed and reflect. So that's a great help. Um, I have the Glorious set. Most servers will actually combo these two. So if you have the Medal of Honor and one Glorious ring, It'll give you a combo. It'll give you some extra stuff. If your server has it, do it. If not, Master Smiths are gonna go with Medal of Honor, and LKs are gonna go with Glorious. Mainly because it, it's it works better. Because Master Smith have other advantages. LKs can go with half and one of each, because even if you don't have the combo bonus, it actually gives a chance to stun. And again, you're gonna be a status player, so you're just gonna be going in trying to status people. So one of each will help. Don't put two Medal of Honors; it's not worth it. Just do one of each or two glorious. I would go with one of each. That's what I'm going to be ruling. I have both of them, but it's not going to get used. Armor, again, you want something unbreakable. For the OK, for the Master Smith, it doesn't matter because you can repair it at the spot. So it can be any armor for the Master Smith. I would go with Evil Druid for both of them. You can't get Stone Cursed, and you can't get Frozen, which is nice. It sort of only gives them Fiberlock and Taro to deal with you. So pretty much the counter to both of these are going to be Fiberlock and Taro. Just putting that out there. That's going to be the most annoying thing for you. Agi down will be a little bit annoying. Quag, like all those slow down things would be annoying, but nothing will be as bad as Fiberlock and Taro. All right. For weapons, I'm taking a tooth blade if you can make one. +9 is unnecessary on classic. It's actually not working, but it's pretty nice. If you can slow down the precast for your team. Drowsy, put people to sleep. Uh, Marina, if you can freeze them. Again, if you can make it a Marina ice pick or mail breaker, that would be the ultimate uh, weapon, right? So I would highly recommend. I would take a few edge swords. I only have one. I think I have a second one somewhere else, but take a few of them. They break. Obviously, if you're in their Master Smith, you can if you only need one, but take a few of these. Also in the Master Smith, all these status weapons, you're gonna want to make it on mace, because you can actually use adrenaline and actually hits faster than a dagger. So for the LK, you also want on a mace just because they are unbreakable. Um, that actually gives you a little bit of an advantage because they can't stop you from doing what you're doing unless they stay away from you. Um, in terms of defense, ultimate you want a CK, but until you have a CK, you get a four Fabre card. In terms for attack, I'm primarily using the Assault Sphere. It gives 2 strength and 95% damage, and it also uh, ignores defense. So this is a decent weapon. It's a BG weapon, kind of easy to get. So I would start with that for an LK. The weapon will change I'll get to the weapons in just a minute. The damage weapons. Let's keep going with stuff that are for both classes, right? Variant shoes. Um, then you want to go for Green Ferris Diablos if you can. That's the next step. Mainly because you don't need the SP. The SP is going to be useless. You want a defense hat. You want the attack hat if you can. Keep in mind the attack hat for the Mastersmith doesn't give that much more because it actually doesn't. Rapid Smite doesn't actually use the 12%, but it does give the attack bonus there. Mid is kind of useless. Both classes, if you can get an Insomniac, which is a nightmare card on a mid, that would be ideal. But as you can see, I'm not even gonna look for mine. I might look for it before we still have some time. Uh, Gentleman's Pipe's gonna be your main. Again, you can have those attack ones, but you want defense just because you're not gonna do a lot of damage. I did put a raw hockey mask here. Again, I'm not going to any intent that I'm actually gonna be able to kill. I probably won't. Both of them, I'm taking the Insomniac Snake Hat. This is for amp braking. So for both of them, the amp braking will work. The snake. Um, so it's good to have for both. Let me see what else here we got. I think. Oh, for amp braking, they're gonna be different weapons for each one. The Master Smith or the LK, you're gonna have two options. You can either go two-handed. Sorry, this is the only two-handed weapon that I have that's amp breaking. But these can be the same cards as these. So Orc Skeleton, Desert Wolf. So you could probably just get a katana with a katana with the same setup here, triple orc skeleton and a desert wolf. The reason why you want a two-handed and a one-handed is if you have link, you can actually use your shield, and it will be the same attack speed as a two-handed because you get the one-handed quickness. You can actually get, like I said, 190 the max attack speed um, with the one-handed weapon or the two-handed weapon if you have it. If you have that attack speed. Okay. For for a mastersmith, the amp breaking weapon will be different. Um, you're gonna want an axe. I'll probably make a orc axe if you can, or a mace with the same cards. I don't even have a weapon for amp breaking with this guy. I just use this one, which it's a little bit higher end, but it's an end goal here. You definitely want to get there. You can try ice pick depending on the server. Um, Ice pick actually does do a good amount of damage on them. Um, let's talk about the attack weapons, I guess now. So I talked about the assault sphere. Another option is the assassin's dagger. It does proc that occult impact that increases damage on anybody that has a high defense. So if people are tanking you, this might actually work. But again, if they're tanking you, it's probably not because of damage. It's probably just, well, I mean, it's probably because you don't have megs. It's kind of sad, but yeah. But it can, take both. Maybe switching will work. Uh, I also for the LK. By the way, that's those two are just for the LK. It will not work for the Mastersmith. For the LK, I'm also taking a two-handed weapon from BG. I mean, like I said, I'm probably not going to be doing killing, but you never know. You can make sure anytime you go into frenzy, you're equipping the snake hat beforehand. Um, I talked about the edge sword to coma people, and then I take sight clip on both and teleport on both just to get to where I need to be. Plot shield again, you're going to be that annoying thing. So if they have a wizard, you can be annoying them. You're not going to die, so you can be trying to reflect people. Um, Unless somebody fisses you, but they should die as well. But both of these guys should be able to handle a nice beating from any other class. And again, if you need more resistance, you can go with Glorious, but then you won't be reflecting. Uh, Weapons for the Mastersmith. Mastersmith's a little bit tricky. You want things that have high attack, so this is the highest one-handed attack weapon that we can get. Because you're not running GTB, you're gonna get dispelled anyways, and you're gonna lose cart boost, and you're not gonna be able to attack, which is why I say these classes cannot kill. Because any agi down status will remove it, and your Master Smith becomes useless. But Doomslayer, since you don't have a GTB, you're sacrificing your shield, but you're getting a lot of attack. Or you can do Giant Axe, which also increases hit and attack speed, and it already has a big attack. So those two are decent substitutes for this if you don't have a GTB. If you have a GTB, obviously you're gonna want to start going for this. You're gonna want to combat knife. This actually ignores humanoid defense. It does work on a high speed cart ram. Um, Ice pick will also work on high speed. Elemental weapons will also work So this would be good against people that have GR, GRDR. They'll get destroyed by that. Um, yeah. So you just gotta sort of take a few weapons and test what works on which class, and once you learn them, you're gonna start going for that. And again, I told you guys that this is my high end setup. I was actually leveling, so don't listen to the shields and this. But you know, I have Orc here. Like I said, this is gonna be an annoying class. I just want to reflect people. Um, this is for ebb breaking. GR for survivability. We're going DR, but obviously in the meant feather beret. This is for more reflect with my sight at the same time. Um, GTB is going to be your Master Smith's best friend. It's kind of really hard to play without Maya Purple because you're going to be sighting out those Synexes that are coming at your guild. Since you can go in no man's land, and if you don't know what no man's land is, it's just the opening between two guilds in a GVG. You know, people try to cross it, um, Astrika and all that. But again, we're not going to go into that. Let's go into skills. For an OK, it's pretty simple. You're going to want Magnum Break. It can be any level, but I think I have higher level on that one. You're going to want Bowling Bash, Provoke Max, Bowling Bash Max. I have Pierce here. I actually haven't tested to see if Pierce is better at barricades than. Well, no, I'll take that back. Frenzy is the best option on a barricade, look just like you're breaking an amp. However, if there are people there slowing you down and doing things to your frenzy and you can't rebuff because of frenzy, you're gonna want to have a secondary. It could be bowling bash, but the problem is we have bowling bash lines. With people, you can sort of bait them out of it. With barricades, if there's a bowling bash line, and I'll explain these bowling bash lines at the end of the video, if you don't know what it is. If you don't if you can't move the enemy, you're gonna need a second way to hit it, and I believe they're either large or medium. Uh, I want to say they're large. I'll need to look it up. So probably the best option to go with is Pierce, and then you're gonna need a spear with those cards, the formless cards. So just make a weapon for it. I usually don't use it. Like I said, I'm usually GTB with Frenzy. Nobody can really stop that, so it's usually pretty easy to break with those. Okay, but since I'm playing budget, it's my first time using Pierce. Spear and Aura are going to be your two buffs. These are going to be for higher hit, higher damage. You're going to want these are not okay skills. So you want the two-handed quickness, and the frenzy. If you keep hitting frenzy by accident, take that out of the bar and just like open Alt S and swing all the way to the bottom. It's always in the bottom, so you just gotta scroll all the way down. Um, yeah, I would be careful. I know Renewal has like a secondary bar that you can't press. You gotta like physically press. I would keep it there. Frenzy is kind of annoying when you press it. You make you relog, but that's pretty easy for the LK. Like I said, for the Master Smith, I don't have a woe setup up here, but let's see. Your main skill is going to be cart boost with the high speed to try to that's your damage. Um, your buffs are going to be crazy uproar, adrenaline rush if your weapon permits, weapon perfection if your weapon permits. Um, these are going to be for amp breaking. I believe these don't influence on high speed cart ram, whatever it's called. Um, we can test it, but I believe they're just for the amp breaking part. Um, but yeah, yeah, like I said, pretty simple. One thing that's not on that bar that you probably want to have is Shattering Strike. Level 1 is good enough. This will actually be another part of breaking people's gear and being annoying. So if you can't kill, you're starting to break people. So you don't really need a weapon to do it, you can do it with any weapon. You can actually be using a combat knife protected a little bit, and still be causing problems. Again, you want the repair. I'm not putting that in the bar. You probably want to find a place for hammerfall. I'd probably put it right here. Um, like I said, I was not bowing with this build. I was leveling, so I don't need some of this stuff. But yeah, I would probably put all three of these. So the third one I put on the bar is cart evolution. You got to make sure your cart is max. Oh, for both of these skills, you want 100% cart filled here. There are some servers that only count for the 8,000 weight, but I don't know which servers is which, so I just do both. It's pretty easy. Just throw junk in there, and then fill it up with like some heavy items. But yeah, you want to make sure if you're throwing arrows in there, they're fractions of thing. You want to make sure you keep throwing arrows until you can't anymore, one by one, because you might not be 100%. All right, that's it for the skills. Let's see items. Item wise, bless agi. So I'm sure if you can, but those are optional. Again, if you have a priest, that'll be ideal. Um, Berserk potion for both of them. A healing SP item. I'm using white chocolate. I have a guide on that. It's pretty good. White chocolate. It's a decent SP item. It's a little bit heavier than I would want to, but it's wonderful. Speed pots. You're definitely going to do speed pots. Uh, you don't want to get fiber locked. This is only to avoid fiber locks. So you want to run to their stack. Anytime you're going towards them, you're going to be speed potting towards them. Authority is just whenever I don't want to use agi if I'm just walking around, place to place. Converters, you definitely want to take cursed water for sure, fire for sure. Um, Earth is good, wind is good, water is decent. Furwoe is not great, but if you know somebody that uses water, fire armor, there are people that use fire armor, so make sure you take that as well. Royal jelly, you're not going to need a lot on both. I'll take 5 just for chaos in case they chaos you. Other than that, you shouldn't get any status other than sleep unless you have the mid that I told you. And then a HP item, you're going to take a bunch of it. Right now I only have 500, but you could probably take about 1500 bar, probably more. But that's it. You don't need any etc. items except for the Mastersmith. Mastersmith needs the repair items, which is steel, and you just look at the skill, the repair skill. It'll tell you there. Yeah, you can look that up. But yeah, take a few. Don't take too many. Just so in case of in the middle of a battle. So here you go. You need iron ore, iron, steel, and rough oridicon, and that should cover uh, all of it. Oh, and steel, yeah. So just take those, and you'll be fine. Um, yeah. Alright guys, real quick, I said I'll cover bowling bash lines. I did turn on RCX, make sure it's legal in your server, and classic it is, so I have it. Um, as some of you already know, bowling bash will hit a couple times when it's not in bowling bash land. So if I'm hitting this guy's taking full damage. If he goes into the blue, he actually starts taking only 1 damage, only 1 hit. And if he's on the red, he will actually start missing or taking 1 hit or something like that. It's a lot lower. You probably can't even hit in red. However, if there's another person outside of it and you do a magnum break beforehand and you line them up, as long as they're touching each other, so like if they're 2 right here, they'll both get hit um, with bowling bash. So that's a little trick. Hope it helps. Uh, this actually is a extremely broken trick. So if there's like a bunch of people lined up, like if it's a huge precast, this is why LKs are more efficient on big woes, is because we you want it to have as many people touching each other as possible, like square by square. because if you magnum break and hit, it will keep going until it has an open slot. So as long as there are people connected in that straight line, it will continue to hit them. Um, so it's a little hit there. Not a lot of people know about that. Sorry, pro guys that don't want me to tell people that, but I feel like there's a tutorial video and people should be learning, and I hope that helps. All right, real quick. So because of bowling bash lines, keep in mind, bowling bash might not be the fastest way to status people. So if you're actually just trying to status people, depending on the situation, bowling bash, you're not gonna be able to do a lot of bowling bashes. But if they have the strings, you can actually switch over to Magnum Break, because Magnum Break will be reduced the delay with strings, so you can jump on their strings and just spam Magnum Break. That's usually how I do it. Usually I jump on people's stack with Edge Sword if they're in bowling bash lines, and I just spam Magnum Break, and that actually kills a couple of people. It's kind of funny. Uh, Another trick for LK, Master Swords don't have that many tricks. You just got to know that even if you're missing, you're doing damage, so there's a chance to stun people. So if high agi people, you're gonna be hitting a lot. It's not that you're not gonna be able to kill them. It's just that you're probably gonna wait until they stun, and then you're gonna be able to kill them once they stun. Um, but LKs, if you know how to do the dance, you're gonna be pretty good at a LK. And the way you do the dance is after you bowling bash, while he's in that animation of like getting ready, you click out, right? So the idea is you're canceling that animation by clicking on an empty square, right? So if you're and in town, you actually have to hold shift. So I would practice outside of town or on PvP. Take off your weapon and go to PvP and bring a second character, put a sanctuary down or something, and practice um, dancing. So the trick is just as soon as you bowling bash, you want to already have clicked out, and sometimes you won't actually walk out. It will look like you walked out, but for some reason I can't do it. Maybe it's the lag from the recording. But anyways, practice that. You want to click out right when you click on the person. The faster you click, the better, and you'll actually animation cancel that skill. All right, I believe that covers all of it for both of them. Um, Again, if you're asking me, if you don't have gear, don't play them. They're not great. They're not good at all. I'm gonna play one of each, or maybe both of them today, an hour of each. But mainly because I want the footage and I want the video. But I wouldn't recommend. All right, I'll see you guys next time.